Dr. Catherine Albrecht is here. She is a privacy researcher, a consumer advocate, and a best-selling author. I guess she can just do it all. She's joining me now on the Lifeline. Hi, Catherine.
Hello, it's great to be on with you this morning.
It's good to have you, too. And quite frankly, you look like you sing with the Celtic women. Not going to lie.
I wish I could. I wish I had that kind of singing voice, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I used to, and then I just talked my entire life, and now I can't even sing. So if I'd learned how to shut up, I'd probably be able to still sing. Anyway, Google is being really weird, and I thought I was the only one who had noticed it, and then I got this email, and I was like, see? It's not just me. So I know you write for a lot of different entities, and you write books and stuff, but what's going on with Google?
Yeah, I think without people realizing it, Google has really taken over the world. There are 1.8 billion Gmail accounts, and people are using them without a second thought. What has happened recently is that it came to the awareness of a privacy researcher, a technology guy, about a week ago, that Google was subject to a phishing attack. And if you know what phishing is, it's when you get something from, it says, this is Bank of America, and your bank account, is at risk, log in, and then you look to see who sent it, and you see it, comes from scammers.ru instead of bankofamerica.com, and you don't click it, or you look at the link they give you, and it goes to a suspicious-looking place with a bunch of letters and numbers, but not bankofamerica.com. And so most of us have learned how to avoid those phishing scams, usually just because it doesn't really look like B of A. Maybe it's got bad, language, the grammar isn't right or something. But what happened with Google is these 1.8 million accounts billion accounts were put at risk because scammers got a hold of a Google domain that actually is google.com, not scammers whatever. Mm-hmm. It's actually google.com because a couple of years ago, Google was hosting websites that you could get your own at sites, sites.google.com, and they would host your site. So scammers got a hold of one of these, and they put up a page that looks just like Google, and then they sent out an email, a phishing email. They've been doing this, sending out phishing emails saying, we have gotten a law enforcement subpoena for information in your Gmail account, and here is the official number, and it really looks, your case number is this, and your officer is the other. It looks very official. I saw it. I would have fallen for it. And when you go up to look, it says it comes from sites.google.com, and the website it refers you to is sites.google.com. So it looks like a place you should just go. And when you get there, it says to find out more information about your case number, whatever, click here. When you click there, it says enter your username and password. And the moment you do that, they have access to your account. Now, the plot thickens here because phishing attacks, usually if they get access to your account, they might use your account to send out spam to other people. They might use it and go through and see if there's any financial information in there they can use. But what's happened now with artificial intelligence is that AI can go through people's accounts, and let's say, for example, you went through a toll booth and you did not have the transponder and you got a bill for, $8.50 in Pennsylvania 2 years ago. AI can go through there and use that information and send you in the future an email that says, well, guess what? That thing you did 2 years ago, and it will have the actual number, the actual information will look very legit. And it will say, well, now you owe a $580 fine, and if you don't pay it, then you're going to jail. We'll issue a warrant for your arrest, or it will increase to $5,000. And here's the website where you can pay it, and people just go and do it. So AI has changed the game for phishing attacks and for hacks, because it is now possible to tailor a phishing attack and a hack in a way that no human being would have the energy to do. But AI can do it. So we are all at risk with AI potentially having access to our email. And one final thing I want to say here is, deep in the terms of service, Google recently added a line that gave me the chills. What they said is that they have given themselves now the right to have their artificial intelligence, DeepMind, go through the contents of people's email and train on those, train on the messages we send and receive through Gmail. And that is a huge risk because AI doesn't need to train on our email. AI already knows how to write sentences and write email. It writes better than most of us.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing AI would be training on in your email would be creating a dossier of personal information about you specifically, so that they will know everything about each individual Google user, and that is downright terrifying.
That's communist. And I mean, can't we sue them for this? There's got to be a way.
Yeah, the problem is we agree to all of this in the terms of service.
Because no one reads it. They just click, accept all.
They just click. Well, and it's pages. You couldn't read it all. I actually, got a cup of coffee and sat down for a long time and read over every line. And that's when I found that one little innocuous-looking line right in the middle of, 20 pages that said, by the way, our artificial intelligence can train on the contents of your email. And that should be, headline news across the globe. And that brings me to my next point. When this privacy researcher revealed what had happened to Google, Google did not fix it and did not even care. And the Daily Mail picked this up, the Daily Mail, British newspaper, and made it a big story and said, Google's putting 1.8 billion people at risk due to this phishing hack. Mm-hmm. Well, Google... what I did not know at that point is that Google controls the news cycle, because I was thinking, I'll get a bunch of media requests to talk about this. And yet when I reached out to media to say, are you going to cover this story? Everybody said, it's not a story. It's not on our, it's not on our news feed. Well, then I learned their news feed is Google News.
Well, yeah, because they completely put things at the bottom of page 30 that they don't want you to know about. So
it's not there at all.
They're notorious.
It's literally not there at all. This is a huge news story, and Google News censored it and never said a word. And why would they? Because
it's so
they
unethical.
Control the news cycle. Yeah. They can prevent anyone from knowing the bad things they're up to. And then I thought, what is the flip side? They could make us believe anything they want by just putting it in their news cycle. They could put anything in there. It would get repeated, spread all over the globe, and we would all just nod and agree. So Google has gotten dangerously big. They're in control of the news cycle. They're in control of 1.8 billion people's email, and it's time that we all collectively just remove ourselves from that Google environment, because I believe that there's going to come a time when it's going to be very dangerous to have a Google account and have their AI know everything about us.
I would really love if employers stopped forcing their employees to be on Google everything, because they do. Me too. So here's the thing. I hate Google.
Co-founded a private email alternative to Google about 10 years ago.
DuckDuckGo.
Before, it was already a problem then. So we created a private email called StartMail, StartMail. And we actually had a search engine called StartPage, which was the place you started your internet search that was different from Google search. So the StartMail is the email service that people can log on to and get a 7-day free trial. It is not free, because email shouldn't be free. The only reason that Google, the Gmail and Yahoo and all of those are free, it costs them a lot of money to maintain the servers and handle your email. It's free because they're making money off of looking at the contents that you put in your email. Mm-hmm. So email should not be free. Just like when you send a piece of mail, you don't expect the Postal Service to deliver it for free. But if they were scanning it and selling your information to advertisers, they might be willing to do that for free.
Yeah.
So people need to realize that the stuff that we are accepting as free and ought to be free is hurting us.
Yeah.
Your Netflix. People have a monthly Netflix account that's way more expensive than StartMail would ever be. And, people don't complain about that. So I am encouraging everyone, check out startmail.com. We can get a coupon code for your listeners to get $20 off of an account as well, by the way. So maybe we can talk after the show about how to enable people to more easily get that. But definitely do the switch. StartMail is fully encrypted. So that means that there is literally no way to get your email. And no way for anyone to access your email because it's encrypted. It would take thousands of computers, thousands of years to even undo or decipher one message.
So are Google accounts going to be able to accept emails from your Starlink?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it's really easy to switch. If you have a Gmail account and you switch to StartMail, you can move over all your contacts. You can just copy them into Start Mail and just act as though it's your Gmail account, but then you have the safety of not being in their ecosystem of spying.
Yeah.
So it's super easy to use, and it's just like regular email.
We all know Google's spying on us because I can Google something about, I don't know, what kind of medicine should I give my kid if he has this, that, or this other symptom. And then all of a sudden, my news feed, not only on Google, but on my phone, in any game I'm playing, my Facebook account, all of a sudden there's medicines for kids all over in every aspect of my life. And I'm like, is my phone listening to me? No, but Google is.
Yeah, and so that's why we created Start Page. Start Page is an alternative to Google for a search engine, and the results are just as good. But when you do a search on Google, you are agreeing for them to use your search, couple it with all of the personal information they have about you, and then serve you ads everywhere you go. And that is something that has just kind of slipped under the radar for most Americans, but I think we've gotten to the point where we actually really need to say no, because they've got their AI, their DeepMind AI, and frankly, I think there's going to come a time when all of these AIs are going to become a menace to society.
Oh,
already the people working in those companies.
Channel. Yeah, we know. Yeah. We've learned nothing, but we know. Yeah.
So I would encourage you. I can get you a free Start Mail account so you can check it out and begin to make the move to privacy. And I would love to give all of your listeners a code so that they could get $20 off a Start Mail account. And little by little, we need to just pull ourselves out of the system. Remove the tentacles that have woven their way into our lives, and start being more thoughtful about how much we're telling this company.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Most people are listening and thinking, I'm not putting anything in Google that's that important anyway. That's what they're thinking.
Well, let me tell you, let me respond to that. So if you had, privacy invasion it feels like a victimless crime because the victim doesn't know they're a victim. Robbery and theft and assault, all that, you've been victimized. Mm-hmm. But in the case of privacy invasion, you don't realize that they're looking at you, but it's almost as though you had a neighbor down the street with binoculars, and he was looking in your window. Well, if you knew he was there, you should probably draw your curtains after your shower and not just walk around in the bus, with your windows open.
I'd be knocking on his door.
Yeah, well, whose fault is it if you do? Whose fault is it if that neighbor spies on you? Well, for one, it's his fault because he shouldn't be doing that. Mm-hmm. But two, it's kind of your fault because why aren't you closing your curtains if you know there's a risk?
Yeah.
And I have to say that's very similar for Google. The fact that they're spying on you and now making you at risk for actual hackers and phishing people and all sorts of other criminals out there and not protecting their users, it's similar to saying, why aren't you closing your curtains if you know there's a risk? Yeah. And I'll tell you one other thing. When people are saying, well, I'm not doing anything. In the past, so when we first created it 10 years ago, people would say, well, they're really only spying on CEOs and senators and, people in positions of power. Why are they going to look at me? I'm just a dentist. I'm just a homemaker. I'm just a student. Well, that was true 10 years ago because nobody had the energy to look at everybody. But now there's AI. And AI has an infinite amount of attention for everything. So in the past, you're right. As a school teacher, nobody's going to be reading your email. But now you've got AI avidly reading every word you write and putting all of it together. And they know that you drove through that toll booth 2 years ago. They know that you have an appointment with the oncologist next week. They know all of these things because they're putting them in there. And AI is able to be like the most diligent KGB investigator you could ever imagine, staring at every single thing you personally do. And if people don't think that could be used against them, my gosh, it's a terrifying risk we're all running.
All right, we've got less than 30 seconds left. Where do they go to learn more, Dr. Catherine?
Startmail.com. I do a daily radio show, and it's my name, Catherine-Albrecht.com, and that's KATHERENE-ALBRECHT. Got it all up there, and I do a daily show, and people can learn more.
Everybody do it. Learn more. Google is phishing you with a PH. Dr. Catherine Albrecht. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.